All right. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good morning to everybody on YouTube. It is Tuesday, December 22nd. We are 3 days away from Christmas, and there's a whole lot of opportunities in the market. You would think that going into the holiday season, the market slows down, the volume starts to die down, but it is quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. So, which is good for us because that gives us a lot of opportunities as day traders to make really fast money. And I'm excited to share some ideas that I've got here with you that I've been researching. And I know Taj has got some on his mind as well. So why don't we get started here? And actually, let me make a quick shout out to Santi, who has already posted a couple of swing trade ideas. So for all of our subscribers, take a look at the swing channel, right? Because you guys do have access to it, and you can take those swing trades while we're also day trading. So I really encourage you. Santi's been making some killer trades on
Yep.
on the swing channel. So a little shout out to him. So I think the topic of the day is electric vehicles, right? And the reason why is because Apple comes out and gives news that they are going into electric vehicle production in 2024. This is not necessarily new news because they have mentioned it before, but hey, they brought it back to the surface, and Apple closed yesterday at 128, gapping up 132. All-time highs is only 6 points away. So, not saying that Apple is going to hit that number today, but it is damn trending towards it. So, I really like Apple here on this potential gap and go scenario, right? So, what's a gap and go strategy? You have a stock that's gapping up at the open. I want to see Apple rip. Now, there is potential for Apple to sell off, consolidate, and then turn back around. Whatever it decides to do, let's just be ready for that action, right? So right now, if it can hold itself here until the market open, if it breaks above 132.49 or 50, I would love to go long Apple. And on the daily chart, guys, this stock looks really well, really good. It really has no resistance on the daily chart until about the 134 range. And then if it could break above that, I mean, we're looking at 137, 138. Like I said, I don't think it's going to hit that today. I think in the next couple days or a couple weeks it will. But hey, let's let Apple do its thing, right? So Apple is definitely in play today, and it's going to be one of my A-list stocks to day trade. Another name that I really like is Fubo, or as I like to call it, Fubu. uh, that's just me mispronouncing the stock. So Fubo, we traded it yesterday. We've actually been trading Fubo for the last couple days, and it's just been on a rip. Look at the past 5-10 days. I mean, this stock really broke out from the upper 20 range, and now it's at 56.85. So Fubo got a price target upgrade, and the upgrade came from Needham, tier 1 analyst that we really follow. They gave it a $60 price target. In pre-market, it hit 58.76, closed yesterday at $49. So you're talking about almost a 10-point gap up. Right now, the range is pretty big on Fubo. So I would love for Fubo to settle, consolidate, rip higher. A lot of day traders are in it. A lot of people are trying to short the stock, but it just keeps getting it has more fuel in it, right? And if you look up at 8:56 in the live trading room text channel, Taj looked up the short interest on Fubo, 23.49% short float. This stock is squeezing the hell out of the short float, and the outstanding shares is only 67 million shares. So it's a small float and it's heavily shorted. This is why Fubo is just on a rip, because you've got a lot of people trying to short the stock, and they're not nailing the top. So that's the dangerous thing about shorting. On the daily, I am a little concerned because if you're looking at Fubo on the daily chart, this thing, the RSI is at 91. It is very extended to the upside, very extended. But I'm not calling to short the stock. I'm just saying let's just be very mindful of the parabolic move it's made since it ripped out of $30, right? If you look on the daily chart, it has had an enormous amount of volume. So this move is being backed up by a tremendous volume. So it's still strong. It's too strong to short, but let's just keep in mind that at some point, Fubo is actually going to be a really good short. I'm not saying that's going to be today, but let's just keep that in mind, right? All the factors that are in play. So for me personally, I'll get excited if Fubo starts to trade higher to like 58.76 pre-market high, rip to the upside. Maybe we can get $60 on it today. Now, if it sails down, breaks below 56, I'll just put it aside and wait for it to maybe consolidate, curl back around, maybe even a reversal play. So we could short it if it sells off. Little bit of a riskier play. I'd rather play with the trend, which is clearly to the upside. But let's see. Let's watch it carefully. The levels that I'm looking at to the downside are 56 and 54.50. Right, that's what I'm kind of seeing. Another name I like is Peloton. Peloton, P-T-O-N. Peloton acquired its competitor, and it's gapping up tremendously. From that news, they also got price target upgrades from a lot of tier 1 analysts, Goldman Sachs, JMP Securities, and KeyBank, Stifel, all in the 160, 185 range. So Peloton is just a beast. This thing is nonstop. So right now it's flagging in pre-market. I'm marking up my levels here. So the bottom of this flag right now is 160. The pre-market high is 162.70. So right now it's in a nice little tight range. I would love for this to break out some more. We can go long Peloton, put our stops at the bottom of the flag, and let's just let the setup, right, do its thing. Once we identify the entry point, we'll call it out and make the play. Peloton is going to be on my A list for today, along with Fubo and Apple. Another name is BLNK. So the reason why is BLNK had a monster move yesterday. I did play that in the afternoon, called it in the live training room, made some serious money on it on those contracts. And today it's gapping up, very small amount, only 30 cents. I want to keep an eye on it because with the news of the stimulus package, including money for infrastructure on electric charging stations around the country, that's going to be big. That's going to be big for BLNK, which is why it had such a tremendous move yesterday. All-time highs on it is 39.20, which it hit yesterday. I know it's gapping down a little bit, but if we start to see BLNK, holy smokes, did you see that pop?
Yeah.
That just happened right in my face right now. So, okay, I'm telling you, BLNK is going to be in play. It's going to be in play. Let's look at the short interest on it, because I'm sure a lot of people are trying to short this stock. So let's see. Let's see if our little bot here can give us the, or did I put the right in? Yeah, short interest, BLNK. All right, whenever that pops up, it'll let us know. BLNK is going to be in play, guys. So this is going to be on my A list as well. Another name is Airbnb. Airbnb is going to be in play as well. Yesterday, we finally broke out of the IPO highs, and I think this stock, it has some more room to run. So I'm watching specific levels here. If this could break above 168.50, I would like to go long Airbnb. I think we're going to test 169.70 and then approach the 172 level. So Airbnb is definitely going to be in play, and I've got it as part of one of my A-list stocks. All right, let me move this over here. Another name is, my last one, and then I'll pass it on to Tosh, is Plug. Like I said, the theme are EV names, right? And Plug is just that clean energy name, part of the, I guess part of the package, right? Of these names that are just big movers. It had a nice flag here in pre-market. It just broke out of it 10 minutes ago. So with Plug, we've got to be a little careful. We have to wait for the next setup. Maybe it's a bull flag formation. Maybe it's a nice reversal. But here's the thing. It's gapping up into all-time highs. And this one is heavily traded from the day trading community. So I think this has more room to run and can give us a nice range on it. So Plug will also be on my A list as well. So I will end it there on my top names. The 6 names that I'm going to be watching as a priority: Apple, Plug, Fubo, BLNK, Peloton, Airbnb. Those are my top names. My B list is going to be Microsoft, Tesla, PLTR, NEO, and I see Felipe brought up FCEL. Let me just take a look at it. Oh yeah, it's one of those clean energy names. This is along with Plug. So yeah, so we can also keep an eye on FCEL. It's a cheaper name. We can get in with good size on it. Let me just take a quick look on the daily chart. Okay, so right now daily resistance, you got $10.30, and then you got $10.88. All time highs $11.28. So not too far from it. So let's keep an eye on it as well. So this will also be on my B list. Thanks, Felipe, for bringing that up. Taj, hand it over to you, my man.
Yeah, man. So a lot of the names you mentioned are on my watch list as well. I think you're spot on with the, today's theme, electric vehicles. That's what had a nice pop yesterday. A name that was, pretty heavily bought yesterday. You kind of made a joke about it beforehand, was NEO. Every single time NEO has a significant gap down, what does it do? It runs every single time. It's actually getting insane how often it does it now.
Yep.
So I just want to keep an eye on it. NEO's going to be a name that I'm going to keep a close eye on. I like the trading activity it's having during pre-market. It's right up near $50 again. And yesterday was a very, very strong day. It actually broke out of some key resistance levels right here around 48.60. So now that we're able to gap up above that, we really don't have any major resistance until around $52. So I just want to keep an eye on it. If the EV sector is going to be hot, I think NEO could be a name to keep an eye on.
Yep.
So that'll be one. I definitely like Apple. Apple's going to be for sure my go-to today, my number one. Just look how clean this flag that's happening up here.
Right.
You're having some breakouts and then flag, breakout, flag. And I think Apple's just setting up for pre-market. It's already gapping up, close to $4. So that is a pretty significant gap up on a stock like Apple. However, you're breaking out of that key resistance, that 129.50, and you're breaking well above it. So as long as Apple doesn't fill the gap, Apple looks amazing for a long one today. You have so much room to the upside. You really don't have resistance until the all-time high, which is around 138. So you essentially have 6 points of very soft resistance up to those all-time highs. So for us, we'll have to keep an eye on level 2 to really pinpoint some some selling pressure areas. But overall, if Apple's able to break above, let's say around 130, around 132.30-ish, it looks like a great long. You can break above that pre-market high, and let's see if we can run. So that's going to be number one on my watch list. I do really like Fubo. Now, I'm a little more, how do I want to say this? I'm down to get aggressive on this stock. Let's put it that way. I'm down to get aggressive. 2 reasons. Like Alex mentioned, the RSI is at, 91?
91,
right?
Yep.
On the daily. Extremely high. Yesterday's move was excessive. It was the parabolic move, right? That really just shot it up. And then you compound that with a gap up like we're having today. It's gapping up from yesterday's high, 7 points from the highs of day today. Now, the reason I say I'm down to get aggressive is because A, the parabolic move we have, and then B, if you actually look at this pre-market data, we actually have a confirmed double top. We have one here on the 710 candle, and we have another here at 835. Now, I just checked the options contracts, and the most recent, or the closest expiration date, is 24 days away. So I don't like that, because that's a little too far from me. So I may not play it, but if I were to play it and I wanted to get aggressive, if this broke down below, let's say $56, you could play it short, but you'd have to put your stops right at that high day. And guys, let me tell you this. obey that stop. Do not give it any. I would not give it any wiggle room whatsoever and play it light. Because the reason I say I'm down to get aggressive on this is because these types of short opportunities can reward you heavily, even with small size. You could, if the expiration date was next week, you could play a short. You could easily, within minutes, make 50, 60, 70% return on the stock if it really starts to pick up some steam to the downside. While, taking a small position because you have your limited risk of about 2 points and you're going in light. So if you are going to short it, again, remember, it's a very aggressive play. It's damn near aggressive as it gets. But it can be very rewarding on the other side. So I'm going to wait to see what the contracts open up at. I think they're going to be a little too expensive for a $54 stock for my liking, or $56 stock. I'm looking at some of them that are kind of in the money. They're like $6, $7. For a $50 stock, that's kind of insane. Just to give you perspective, Apple contracts in the money are like $1, $2.
Right.
So I may sit on my hands on it, but if it is cheap, then I will look for the short opportunity. But also, if it's strong, hey, breaks out above that level, play it long. Play the quick pop, take your quick money. Remember, Fubo is overbought, so don't marry the trade. Don't get in, it pops, and then you're sitting there holding it back, thinking it's going to run, up past 61, 62, 63. Take your money quick on a play like this. I really do like Peloton. Really strong gap up today. We're going into, I believe this is all-time highs. I know it's at least 52-week highs.
Yep.
Off of a very strong gap up. I mean, you're looking at, earlier it was around 18 points when it was trading at 162.67. So I think there may be some profit taking out of the gates. However, we have some very strong support levels around 157 and then another around 154. So if we're able to get some tail action, or hell, if we're able to break above right out of the gates 161,
right,
you can look for some potential longs and play that momentum. I mean, who knows what Peloton can do today? All-time highs. You have some price target upgrades along with it. 180, 160, 162. So the median's probably around 170, maybe a little less. I see 185 here as well. So let's see. Let's see what it can do. The only thing that concerns me, that is a huge gap up.
Yep.
But if it's able to continue that momentum, then I feel fully confident that we're going to have some continuation to the upside. And then lastly, a name I want to watch is Boeing. So Boeing had a monster day yesterday. It actually filled their gap off of a huge gap down. Boeing opened up yesterday at 212 and closed pretty much right at a tie of 219. So you had a 7-point rally off of Boeing's huge gap down yesterday. I didn't look at the details of the relief bill for the most part, but I'm assuming there's some money set aside for the industries that have been hit, like the airlines and the cruise ships. Again, I didn't read it, so I could be wrong. It's just an assumption. But I mean, it looks like Boeing liked the news. Looks like investors like the news on that for Boeing. So today would be a day to see if we can have some continuation to the upside and maybe reclaim some of those losses that Boeing has incurred over the past couple weeks here. So Boeing will be on like my C list. If I see a setup that I like for a potential long, then I'll take it. However, for the most part, my A list is going to be Apple, Peloton, and Fubo. My B list will be composed of Microsoft, Neo, and there was one more. Oh, and Peloton as well. Oh, and lastly, one more. Completely forgot about PayPal. PayPal is also a name I want to watch. Stock going into its all-time highs. Closed yesterday at 237.72, and now we're gapping up right near 241. So PayPal, this is again going to be on my C list as well, along with Boeing. I just want to keep an eye on it and see if it can have some momentum out of the gates. We have some big green bars coming out of the gates, breaking above around 241, 242. And if momentum starts to pick up, maybe we look for a bull flag and play PayPal for the upside. So that's pretty much my watch list, guys. Pick a few of those between, what Alex and I have mentioned, and just form your own list and
Right.
mark down those levels and let's see, let's see what we can have. So
Exactly right. Yeah, we got a lot of good names here. So, like Tosh said, pick your favorite ones. Focus on those levels and the setups, and let's just make that fast money today. If you had a red day yesterday, focus on making some base hits today. Make a couple $100 here, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 here. Don't try to make that home run because that's when you can get in trouble. I got caught in that yesterday. I tried to make a home run trade with Tesla, just a kind of like a one trade hit day, and it bit me in the ass, and I spent the rest of the day trying to make that money back. So trust me, we've gone through this so many times, and I know many of you have gone through it too. Let's remind ourselves of not making the same mistakes, right? That's part of us being here as a community, right? We want to help each other succeed and help each other not repeat the same mistakes, right? So with that being said, I'm looking at the time. Let's cut the recording on YouTube. For all our viewers on YouTube, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to comment below and follow us on Instagram and Twitter to just stay in touch with us, and you can join our community for free and trade with us for 1 week free. And if you love what you see, guess what? You can day trade with us every single day. So take care out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow.